small. Hello, everyone. And, well, epic fail. All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the second practice of Ukulele Foundations live practice. Good news, in spite of appearances. I hope everyone, first of all, where are my minors? I hope everyone had a great week so far. I've been able to iron out a couple of technical glitches here and there. So therefore, I'm confident that this is going to go by wonderfully this time. So last time, and I'm being joined by Simon. Good afternoon, Simon. Thank you for joining. And so just to recap where we were at last time, we looked at a couple of ways to strum. We've seen 6 rhythms so far. I'm going to review those today because I didn't do a good job at doing that this Wednesday. And we'll go over 2, maybe 3 out of the songs that are on the lists of very simple songs to try to assimilate and incorporate those items. So without any further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do a little rhythm revision because this is a big part of Ukulele Foundation. All right, so let's talk about Rhythm 1 for those that are subscribed to the course. Of course, you can find this in your the appropriate tab under your account. So Rhythm 1, using the technique we talk about, is all these are called quarter notes. The way to count them is you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and their phonetic equivalent is the syllable ta. So it goes ta, 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 ta. And to do it better, we bring our friend metronome in like this. So ta, 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 ta. Good. And what we also learned is we're basically going to match those clicks or match those tas or match those numbers. All different, but really the same. And what we're going to do is we are going to go with downstrokes, and we're going to tap our foot. At the same time, there's a click. So everything is kind of tied together. The click, the foot, the hand, and we're going to go ta, ta, using the universal chord, the one that you can't fail at, just mutes the strings. So ta, 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 ta. And we're going to use that right away without any more waiting. We are going to switch gears. And, oh, this was not smooth. It's okay. This is smoother. All right, this is what I wanted to get at. And I'm going to just adjust the camera slightly here. We're going to apply that rhythm to the song. He's got the whole world in his hands, which are using only 2 chords. And those 2 chords are C and G7, like so. So C, you should all know this by now. But if you don't, it's okay. Take a moment just to reconnect. And G7. Okay, so let's use rhythm number 1, which is all tas, and apply this to this song. I'm going to set it in my metronome at 60. And I'm just going to warm up. Ta, 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 ta. I might find it's too fast, in which case just slow down the metronome. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and G7. We're warming up slowly. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And so that's the idea. Okay, so notice one. I'm gonna stop the metronome. Okay, just for a sec. Come on, metronome, give me a chance. I'm gonna head back here real quick. Hello, people. I just want to say one of the things I'm going to do is, as I'm doing this, I'm going to use my thumb first, but other techniques are going to follow. So that was what I wanted to say. All right, let's get back right in. So with the metronome, he's got, let's find a note. He's got the whole world in his hand. is G7, whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Wonderful. All right. So obviously it's not so much about the singing as much as it is about keeping a steady rhythm. We'll talk about singing and warming up for singing another time. All right, so moving forward, we're gonna still go through our rhythm because that's, oh, that was a bit slow. That was 58, that was not 60. I got tricked by my metronome. There you go. Every click matters. All right, so let's move on to rhythm number 2. Same idea, we're gonna practice this one. So quick reminder, it goes da, da. So in this case, we're gonna tap our foot again on every click. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are gonna go, we could just say it first. So da, da. But what's happening is even though the strumming hand is not playing, it's still going to move along with the foot. So that's really the basics of what you want to be taking up as a habit. You really want to make sure that your foot and your hands are kind of glued together every time your foot taps, your hand comes down, and so on and so forth. So again, with my universal chord here, it goes da, da. So really, I'm just playing every second foot tap. Da. So with metronome, it goes like this. Da, da. So these are half notes. All right, moving right along. Let's go back to the same song. We're gonna switch songs midway, so just to make it more fun. All right, let's do this. So we're with rhythm number 2. Let's go. Everybody take their G chords and G7 and C chords at home. So let's just warm up. Let's just play that rhythm with those chords. So da, 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 da. Switch back. C. Da. See how my hand keeps moving. Perfect. And when you feel ready, just stick on the C chord until you can find a note. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm searching for that first note. Even if you mess it up like I did earlier, that's okay because it's ukulele. He's got the whole world in his hand. Change. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. So that might be too fast for you. As I said, there's no shame. Just gonna give myself a chance and slow down to 50. Same idea. Again, let's get in the groove. Da, da. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Wonderful. All right. So that was for rhythm number 2. As you could tell, it's really simple right now, but the focus is not on how complicated it is. It's rather on, can I get that the habit where my foot comes down as my hand comes down, the fact that my hand never stops moving, and how I'm getting clear in my head about what the rhythm is using the ta, or the ta, 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 ta. So it's kind of a construction. And also, it's enabling you to start to read those things. Okay, let's go with rhythm number 3. Okay, rhythm number 3, which is a whole note. So that has to be the easiest rhythm so far. This one is read ta. So if you could stress every ah, It's good for practice your breathing. So let's just bring this back to 60 just to make it less painful. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you get that going, your foot tapping and your hand moving, you could attempt just singing it. Da, da. If you find that the people in the same house or apartment as you are finding you weird because you're doing these things, that's completely normal. Eventually, very quickly, you stop singing it. It's just to get it in your head, like getting that sound, and eventually you don't even need to sing it out loud. So that's the idea. All right, enough of that. So with a chord, it goes a little something like da. Notice my hand is moving. Even though I'm not playing, I'm keeping that habit of yes. Wonderful. All right, let's try this, but in the context of the same song. Don't worry, I said I'm going to switch halfway, so I wasn't kidding. I'm going to do that. So let's go back to the wonderful song. All right. So again, I'm setting myself up for success. 2, 3, 4. I could play just the chord changes. 1, 2, 3. Keep the hand moving. Once you're comfortable and you feel like you found that note. Okay. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world. Oh, we have a conundrum here. All right, let's talk about this. In this specific case, the last 2 chords are actually shorter. So, I mean, there's half of that bar, that last bar, that is a G7, and there's half of it that's a C. So it makes it complicated to stick to whole notes there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, for that last bar, we're gonna play rhythm number 2. In case you already forgot what rhythm number 2 is, well, this is where I come in handy. Here's rhythm number 2. So for that last bar, we are gonna play rhythm number 2, which is da, da. Okay, let's try to see if I can do this semi-smoothly. So we're combining things. I promised that we were combining things earlier. So here we go. Let's do this again. So start with rhythm number 3, which is whole notes, and finish it off because we have to with rhythm number 2, which is half notes. So again, I could set up 2, 3, 4, G7, 2, 3. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hand. Number 2, whole world in his hand. Okay, cool. So that's a bit sneaky, that change of rhythms, you know, but you'll find that this happens a ton of times in songs. That, I guess, faster chord change is on purpose. It's meant to mark the end of a sentence or a verse in this case, so that you want to go again. It's sometimes that's a form of turnaround. Well, as the name suggests, its purpose is to turn you around, so you want to sing another verse instead of just doing the same thing all the way through, which would be a bit more boring. All right, let's move on. I did promise we were going to be thorough, so you asked, well, you didn't really ask, but I delivered nevertheless. Okay, let's talk about rhythm number 4. Let's mix it up a little. Make sure we work on those rhythmic foundations of yours. So in this case, we're combining rhythm number 1 and 2. So what do we have here? We have a half note and followed by 2 quarter notes, which is wonderful. And so in this case, you might want to practice it a little until you get it just right. And I was also joined by Ian live. Hello, Ian. Thank you for joining live. Really appreciate it, as I told Simon earlier. So let's carry on without missing a beat. So rhythm number 4 is, let's set it up. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, you want to tap your foot and move your hand, a downstroke for your hands goes, is kind of glued, like if there was a string attached between your foot and your hand. And you want to do that with our friend metronome at 60. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're struggling, slow it down to 50. Usually that does it. If it doesn't work for you, just send me a quick message. We'll figure it out. All right. So here we got the universal chord again. So da, 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 da. If that's too fast, no worries. Slow it down to 50. Da, da, da. Notice how I'm always moving my hand, even on the half note. Sorry, I can't multitask apparently. Walking and chewing gum, that's too much for me. Okay, let's get back in. Da, 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 da. So that's 50. We could do it with a chord because we know we're going to use a chord. Actually, we're going to change songs, remember? Da, 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 da. And once you're cool, stop singing, just play. Make sure that hand is still going. Wonderful. Okay. All right, so we're going to go back to another song. And to make sure you're not too surprised, we're going to go ahead and tackle our friend When the Saints Go Marching In, which we saw a bit on Wednesday. But this is, again, it's practice to simulate what you've seen in the class. So I guess it only makes sense that we're focusing a bit more. You might never want to play that song again after we're done, but there are plenty of others, so it's fine. Okay, so quick reminder, we're doing the da, da, da. Okay, so we have one new chord here. We need C, of course. We need G7 just like previously, but we also have the F chord. Okay, so this is a bit longer, so it's totally cool. And when you practice at home, depending on your pace and your current level, you might decide on purpose to just focus on parts of the sentence. So that's one of the 5 things that I'm going to talk about that's going to supercharge your learning. So here's first one, like a sneak preview. Number 1 thing, if you're struggling with anything, well, slow it down. That's number 1. And number 2 is make it smaller. Make it as small as you need it to be so that you could tackle it. So in this case, it might mean that you're going to practice over and over just the first sentence. So it might be, oh, when the saints go marching in. And you might want to loop it and start again, oh, when the saints go, until you feel you got it. If you're still struggling, might mean that it's still too big. So in which case, just go, oh, when the saints. Or probably too fast. There has to be a speed and a size that's going to work for you, and just find it and then loop that. And when you feel comfortable, then just expand on the size until you have, let's say, a full sentence, like the first line at least, and then gradually work up the speed. It sounds tedious. It sounds like, oh my God, this is going to take me forever. But trust me on this one. This is actually much, much faster. And not only that, because you're building in a smart manner, it's going to take you less time. And when you play it, you're going to be playing it with confidence. And moreover, whatever you worked in the process, you could reuse in other songs, because guess what? There are plenty of other songs that feature the chord C and G7 and probably the rhythm you're playing. All right, enough talking. So let's start our friend metronome here. So da, da. Yeah, that's 50 still. So let's do 50. I mean, we've done 60 so far. Okay, just getting comfortable. Okay, so let's find out if that works with that rhythm. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. I wanna be in that number. Oh, when the saints go oh, we have the same problem as earlier. Okay, so let's talk about that quickly. I'm gonna change cameras. Okay, so same problem. It's not a problem. I mean, we gotta adapt, right? It's nice that we're practicing rhythm number 4 in this case, but we gotta be flexible. So as I was mentioning before, sometimes at the end of a song, the chord changes are a bit faster. So instead of having one chord that lasts a whole bar, or 2 or 3, you're gonna have multiple chords in the same bar, like in the same 1, 2, 3, 4. So typically, most common is first chord gets the first 2 beats, and the last chord gets the last 2 beats. So so you want to have to adapt to do that. So let's just take a quick look at our rhythm here, real quick, and see. Well, apparently that was a fail. Hang on, bear with me. I'll be right there. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, that's working. Okay, so our chord change here. So what we're going to do here is, since the first 2 beats here are dedicated to the C chord, we are going to play ta, and we're going to change halfway through for G7, ta, ta. So that might be worth practicing on its own. You know how I talk about, like, want to go on that loop? So let's do it. Ta, change, ta, go back to C, ta, 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 ta. If you prefer doing it with the index, just be my guest. So, I told you I can't multitask, but one day I'll get it. Ta, ta. Stay with that metronome, tap that foot, keep the hand moving even when you're playing that half note. Again, if you need to slow it down some more, please be my guest. Or if you prefer the thumb, you could just revert back. Okay, what's the purpose of doing it just like that a couple of times? I'm gonna training my brain, training my hands. So that's really clear what that rhythm is. And sometimes, you know, when I was talking about make it as small as you, I mean, especially for harder songs, here we're by design, we're looking at very simple stuff. And that's because I want to make sure that the concepts are clear for you. However, these principles apply to much more complicated stuff. Like, the goal is always to get it clear for you. So to get it clear, sometimes it means just isolating it and just looping it like we just did at a speed that works for you. It might be even slower in your case. Who knows? So let's go back to our friend, Wayne the Saints. That's not the right one. All right, Jeff. You're getting there. All right. So let's go with that same rhythm. And let's start our friend metronome, 50 still. So it's 1, 2. Oh, when the saints go marching in. You gotta start singing. Oh, when the saints go marching. G7, 2. I wanna be, change to C, in that number. And when the saints go marching in. Okay, so here's some surprise. So that worked. changing chords while still keeping the same rhythm, especially while singing. Again, it's not, and explaining this to you, don't need to explain, but you get the point. Again, it's a system where make sure the first step you get it right, and when you're comfortable, build on top of it. This is what you want to be doing. So it works. If you paid attention, the last chord, personally, I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna throw a whole note in there, which is rhythm number 3 again. This bad boy, because we just had a quick change of chords, and you know it marks the end of a sentence and really like makes you want to go to the next word. But you could have kept the same rhythm all the way through. I'm just mixing it up. All right, so enough of that. So we saw rhythm number 3. We saw rhythm number 4. Let's go with rhythm number 5. And by the way, it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it apparently. So these are meant to let you integrate those rhythms. Of course, you might find, well, rhythm number 4 doesn't really work with Owing the Saints or whatever song you pick. Same for rhythm number 5. That's not, you're right. Yes, absolutely. You might not like them, but the goal is to use them in a context that you know that song. So it's going to make it easier for you to incorporate that in your toolbox, and which in turn you could use it on more songs that you like more, or maybe this is actually your favorite song. What do I know? All right, so let's do this. Same drill. Tap your foot. 3, 4. Keep that hand moving. It's glued to your foot, so downstroke, same time, whether you use your thumb or not. Then percussion. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't go too fast, Jeff. 2, 3. Okay, when you're in it, let's go with ta, 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 ta. Wonderful. Okay, let's try that with a chord. Ta, 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 ta. Awesome. We also know for a fact, just gonna take a quick break. We know that we are gonna need to change from C to G7 in that last chord without changing the rhythm. So let's practice that before we go to the song. We're being smart here. Ta, ta, change, ta, again. Ta, ta, change. And notice how my hand keeps moving on that half note. Wonderful. All right, I think I'm ready for the song. I can even let the metronome run a little as I'm adjusting. Awesome, let's do this. Okay. So, I'm getting into it. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching. Switch chords. Sorry. This is a good example of what not to do. Just real quick. I told you I can't multitask, but if you ever mess up, I'm gonna quick pause on metronome like I just did. My suggestion to you, instead of getting all worked up, oh no, I messed up. I suggest you do what I just did, which is laugh, because it's ukulele. It's meant to be fun. So this is what I wanted to make sure everybody got. So let's start this over again. Even superheroes have tough days, apparently. So. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching. Switch chords. I wanna be in that number. Oh, when the saints go marching. Awesome. So still 50 on the metronome. It's slow, but it's meant for you to play and perhaps sing at the same time. As you could tell, even seasoned players sometimes struggle with just keeping a certain rhythm. So that's the idea. I think we're at time, and I want to be mindful of everyone's time, but you get the point. So the last thing, by the way, for those that are subscribed to the course, I upgraded, this is not the right one, I'm going to get there eventually. I upgraded the slide deck to feature the rhythm in bigger form. So check out that Google Doc. And yeah, so try these two songs or others from the list and try them with rhythm number 6. This is your extra homework until we meet again on Monday. So I'm going to stop the broadcast, but stay on the Zoom call for those that are in the course that could ask me a couple of questions should they want to. So for the rest, on social media, thank you for being here. And we'll see you next week on Wednesday.